Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where I talk about TV shows of supernatural fantasy and or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episodes of Once Upon a Time. Obviously, this week's episode, there were two episodes. Fantastic episodes. Oh, it was so good. A lot of stuff went down in these episodes, so I'm going to break everything down that went down these episodes. Obviously, if you've listened to other podcasts I've done similar to this, when I'm talking about more than one episode, it tends to all get blurred together. It's not like I talk about, sometimes I talk about the first episode, then second. This one is most likely probably going to bleed all together just because I'm probably going on tangents. Nevertheless, we break down, let's start off. The fact of the matter is, Regina has toughest job this episodes is the fact that she's breaking up Jacinda and Henry. She's trying to put like a bigger gap between them by making Jacinda think like, oh, like, if Victoria tells people social service about the story about how you and Henry met, Lucy running away and everything, like Victoria obviously is going to twist it. It's a very sweet thing, sure, but it's like Victoria's going to twist that. And because of that, like Henry and her were going to go on a date, but it's like, it sucks because like everything Regina's doing is because she loves her son. She sees how happy he is. She knows that they're in love. She knows their story, but it ultimately comes down to the fact is that she can't let them be together. And I'll go ahead and jump to it. I think I know what it is. I think Henry and Jacinda are poisoned, or at least one of them is poisoned, because that's what Drizella was trying to do this entire episode in the past, trying to poison them. And I think that same thing applies in this case, because that's the only reason why they could be telling that. Like, I feel like the backstory coincides with that too. Because this way, it's the same thing that's happened with Hook and his daughter, who we end up finding out is Alice. I know I'm going on so many different tangents in this one moment, which I was like, I knew it. I knew that ended up being his daughter. Like, obviously, I'm going to get into that soon enough, but to me, that seems like that could be the only option. Like I said, because it's just such an interesting thing. Like, that's happening in the past while they're also showing this in the present. So I think that's what Regina's afraid of. because I knew it would have something to do with Henry, like the reason why she's reluctant to do it. But it's not only Henry. It's like everyone you care about died. So I'm thinking it's like the person she cared about most is Henry. So it's probably him. But I think him and Jacinda kissing will lead to him dying, which is interesting. I think I brought this up before in comparison of the whole Emma and Regina situation back in season 1 when it came to Henry. And the fact of the matter is Henry poisoned himself so that Emma would believe, and that set everything in motion, which is it's so interesting when you think about that. So I think it might be a similar circumstance, and it's just Regina's trying to find a way around it. I do love her talking to Gold, because this entire time, I debated it last time. I was it seemed like Gold was awake, but is he not? I can't tell. And it's this episode is no, you're definitely awake. With what he warned Killian about, saying you don't know what this is all about. If I told you the truth, you wouldn't really understand. And then the fact of the matter is he went to his dagger, but then I'm he didn't go to his dagger for one of two reasons. One is because there's no magic here, so having it wouldn't do him any good. There's that. But I think it also has to do with the Guardian, because Regina brought that up. It's are you trying to pretend you're not you for the Guardian's sake? Because it's maybe by because if he accepts being Rumpelstiltskin, maybe he feels like the Guardian's watching his every move. And if he accepts being as long as he does what he's supposed to as Weaver, then maybe I don't know what that whole deal is. We'll probably have to wait till we kind of cut to that. But I think it has to be something like that. He can't be Rumpelstiltskin. If he lives as Weaver without being Rumple, maybe that will ultimately lead to the Guardian taking his powers away. Which also leads to the question, it seems like there has to be a dark one just because the balance of things. So it's when it's all said and done, would the Guardian pass it on to someone else? Or I feel like at some point someone else is going to have to become the dark one, just because it has to be someone who takes on that role. Getting back, since I was bringing it up, I'm going to get back to it. It's the whole situation with Wish, Hook, and Alice being his daughter. I figured as much because of that chess match. I was like, is that a red herring, or is his daughter actually Alice? And it turns out that to be the case. That's so cool. But the fact of the matter is, we learned her tragic story. Because at first, the thought was someone had thrown out, oh, maybe Rapunzel was his daughter. It turns out, no. I was wait a minute. It's Rapunzel's in tower already. Oh my God, she's the mom. But then it's where is she in present day and stuff like that? And he goes through all of that, and it's actually interesting to see his story the way it is. Because you're oh, obviously he's so focused on his revenge. He's not going to bother with helping Rapunzel. But he changes his mind. I was holy crap, that's so cool. And then lo and behold, I was I had a weird feeling because just oh, I'm not going to leave the tower. I was wait. was like, oh, you're about to have the baby here. Oh, the evil witch is going to come back and attack you now. I was like, wonder how that whole baby situation. Oh my, there's a baby. Oh my God. And lo and behold, it's the witch, Gothel. I was like, oh, you and your twist. Once upon a time, you're so good. You're so good at that. You're always keeping people on their toes. I was like, that's so good. How about the way, oh, like the mom is Rapunzel. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. But it's like, no, because this is essentially like after the story of Tangled. I love that they do that. This is like after Tangled has already taken place, much like Frozen's already taken place. And like I said, the Princess and the Frog thing, that's like, by the time our story takes place like during that, but obviously it's very different. So, but it seems like it's like, oh yeah, like Rapunzel then locked the evil witch inside a tower and she tricked Killian because what she needs, the flower means that she needs someone of the same, no, like not the flower. That basically the curse means that she needs someone of the same bloodline. So she needed to have a baby with someone, and she knew she could use Killian because he was so in need of revenge. I was like, that's so good. Because I was like, oh my God, like Rapunzel, but it's like, nope, she's kind of off on her own. Someone actually did that to, who was it? Who did that to him? I don't remember. Somebody did that a long time ago in a previous season. Like they pretended to be Ariel. I want to say it was Regina because like Killian had his whole problem with like Ariel because he betrayed her. But I think it was Regina that helped him. I think it was in the past. I don't remember. Somebody disguised himself as Alice to kind of mess with him. I don't remember who it was. If you remember, do let me know. I can't remember it, but I remember that. Like he thought Alice popped up again, but it was someone else disguised as her messing with him. I want to say it was Regina, but I feel like it was someone else. That's going to bother the crap out of me. So it's just kind of interesting that kind of goes full circle. See, like I said, I love it. It's like the show is taking winks and nods towards past seasons. It's like, I remember that. We kind of did that again, but we switched it up a little bit. But it's like, it's still so cool and awesome the way you're handling this. And then what took me by surprise was what Killian did. I was like, oh my God, you abandoned your daughter? You didn't? He stayed with her. He gave up being captain of the Jolly Roger. He gave it to Smee, which was pretty cool. And, because Regina wanted to get out of there because apparently the reason why the curse didn't happen is because in this world her magic was taken by the Charmers. It makes you wonder how they went about doing that. I wonder is that a reference to something earlier in the series where like in the past they show that they tried to do that but it didn't work out. Maybe in this world it did, but nevertheless, which also begs the question: where is Wish Regina at right now? Because in the Wish realm we have the evil queen from last season, the one that was the other side, that was all of our Regina's darkness. God, that's 3 different Reginas, and that's confusing the way I said it. But you get what I'm saying. The evil queen from last season / the end of season 5, like she's in the Wish realm. So where's Wish? I keep saying that weird. Where is Wish realm Regina at right now? Because she was going to a different world too. So maybe we'll cross paths with her in the future. That would be kind of interesting. But like Killian stayed with and named her Alice because of his mom. Because there was that whole like gnome attacking him and Smee earlier, and he sang a lullaby that revealed the flower. And it's like it's one of the only things he has to remember his mom because she died when he was young. Which we know about his situation with his brother, both of his brother, his full brother as well as his half brother Liam. His other brother name was Liam too. I was like, cause that's why I said that. Cause I was like, oh, right. Cause like, that's what pissed, Killian off the most when he met up with his dad was because you had the audacity to name him after your other son that you helped abandon. So it's like, okay, so, both Liams. So we know what happened with his dad because Killian ended up killing him. But, we never knew too much about his mom. I don't think he's ever brought his mom up in conversation before. I think this might have been the first time, which might be them setting up the fact that we might get a little like little bit of the past, especially because it's something that I forgot they brought up earlier this season, and they played it in the previews that basically Killian and Wish Killian had the same exact life up to a certain point. And that certain point is what divided their lives and made them go down 2 different routes. That thing being Regina's curse. So, but it seems like he was there for Alice. I was like, but then I was like, oh, he abandoned her, didn't he? Why is that? No, it's because his heart was poisoned and they couldn't be together. I'm like, oh, that's so sad. So they obviously spent long enough together because Alice recognized it. So it's not like he abandoned her when she was a baby. Which begs the question, how did that whole situation happen? The reason why Killian became the drunk that he was because it was his way of compensating for like the fact that he wasn't around his daughter anymore. So he was trying to find a way back to her, but it's like this whole curse situation. Oh, dude, that's crazy. Into like that whole situation, but he took responsibility. He's like, this is my daughter, and I'm gonna take care of you, but now I can't be with you. It's like, it's so heartbreaking, dude. That sucks. It's like that woman Gothel sucks, dude. I figure she had to be like the evil witch from like the Rapunzel story. Like, just I don't know, it fit. And like, not only that, when like, like, because the whole story revolves around Killian solving it, in the underneath the curse and everything, and he ends up inadvertently rescuing Eloise. I was thinking Eloise was going to be his daughter, like before the whole Alice reveal, and it's like Eloise is freaking Gothel, and he ends up saving her. I'm like, no, he was tricked into saving her both times. This time by Drizella, and that time just because of her manipulation, in the past, in a different realm. I'm like, dude, that sucks so much. And it's like, now she's free and everything. Which you have Victoria warning Drizella, like, you have no idea what you unleashed, which is like, she's probably a lot worse than like Drizella thinks she is. It's like, Drizella thinks this is going to be her way of getting what she wants, which we ended up finding out what it is in this episode. She wants to wake her sister up, because in her sister's body, her sister's got magic. I guess it comes from the fact is that her sister was sealed up before the curse was activated. So much like Drizella has magic, maybe her sister Anastasia has magic too. And so that when, like, when it's all said and done, she can take her sister's, like, it seems like her sister's magic is going to be the way to bring magic to this world for both Gothel and Drizella to use. Because for her, it's like what she deserved from the beginning was, because she never had her magic from the beginning. Her mom kind of kept that from her. Now she's going to embrace it without limitation now that she's trying to make her mom suffer. Her mom got arrested and everything. So ultimately, I think what's going to happen is she's going to kill her sister, because she harbors hatred towards her sister, because her sister, it's why her mom treats her like crap, because it's like Anastasia is the one that's so important. Maybe we end up finding out that maybe things, but I mean, I'm curious to find out about Anastasia. Will she be a good person? Will she be a bad person? Will she be exactly like Victoria? Because it seems like Drizella became the way she did because of her upbringing. Despite her mom made her the way she is. She's actually a good person on the inside, but she darkened her heart just to spite her mom. And the question is Anastasia just like that? Or will we find out that Anastasia's like, no, like her whole situation, because we don't know how she got in that state in the first place, but maybe, I don't think they've mentioned it, but it's like, maybe it was something she did to get away from her mom. So maybe we'll find out something like that. So, but I'm curious what Gothel wants in the end, because like the way Victoria's making it sound, it's like the moment you think you get what you want, she's going to take it all, So I especially like the fact is that Victoria figured Drizella out, because it's like she saw the dirt and like, okay, someone else has been here. Because Victoria's too, oh my God, like she's too particular to let something like dirt. She's like, no, I know I didn't get any here. Who else has been helping you? And then figured out it was Drizella. So, God, so much good stuff went down this episode. What I was going to bring up before about Gothel is the fact is, because obviously she has her memories. She sees Killian kind of being mad at Alice because Weaver was trying to protect him and was like, hey, you need to stay away from this, which obviously Rumple didn't, Rumple/Weaver was doing it out of the kindness of his heart, because it's like, no, like Victoria was threatening to kill you if I didn't. So it's like, in his own way, he was helping, and he got Tilly to do it, which makes me wonder, does Rumple know that that's Killian's daughter? Maybe in some weird way, he felt like it would work better if it came from Killian's daughter rather than himself, Or maybe he just doesn't know that connection. But the thing is, like, while she's being driven away in a hospital, in the ambulance, you see her staring at Alice. It's like, you're so cold-hearted. And even Drizella's like, oh, you went to visit Killian. It's like, oh, you have a crush on him or something. It's like, you, what? Because at first she's like, oh, you're a cold-hearted pirate, but your revenge and my revenge. Like I said, it's such a beautiful thing, because he chose love over revenge. Showing you that no matter what his circumstances is, I think ultimately Killian always ends up a hero. Because this is a different world, different circumstances. He was a drunk, but when presented the opportunity, the goodness in his heart came. And this is before he even met up, and found out about Henry and Emma's situation. It's even before that. This is like him, like, in the wish realm, under all those circumstances, he showed up to be a good guy, meaning that Killian always has the potential to be one. I mean, he wasn't always a bad guy. It took, like, lots of circumstances to lead him to become the pirate and then becoming so obsessed with revenge. But it's like, it was so cool to see that aspect of him. And it's like, see him as a loving father, which he's going to be a father in the other reality too. So it's kind of interesting how that worked out like that. God, that was so good. But it's just like the fact is she saw her daughter in front of her and felt nothing. But the fact is, like, does she feel something for Killian, or just because she feels like they're kindred spirits or something? Like, does in some twisted way she actually like him or something? I don't know. I'm curious to find out like what that's all about. Obviously, things get complicated with the whole Jacinda and Henry situation, not only just because of the Ronnie situation, but also because her ex-boyfriend, not husband, boyfriend, Nick shows up, who Nick's saying like, oh, I'm Lucy's, I'm about to call Lucille, Lucy's dad, which obviously Lucy's like, no, he's not my dad. She's trying to figure out who he is, which we end up meeting him in the past. His name is Jack. I'd assume Jack in the Beanstalk, that Jack, but from a different reality. Because from our reality, from the story that we know, Jack was actually a girl that, David Prince Charming met. Played by Cassidy Freeman, interestingly enough. Which we also know that Jack's dead too, so that's kind of sad. But it's like, I would assume that's because that's the only Jack I know. Also, I know, played by the actor who played Jackson on the originals. I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, oh, Jackson! That's so cool. I wonder how that is, like, from the way, I mean, I don't know. We'll see, like, because we haven't really gotten introduced, we haven't gotten to really know him yet. Obviously, him and Henry have met each other. They cross paths on their adventures and stuff like that. It seems like he's traveling from realm to realm, too. So it definitely seems like he might be Jack in the Beanstalk of, like, oh, this is my story, but, like, I'm going to go out there and find some more adventures. So he's, like, Jack from this realm. So it seems like that might be it. So maybe this Jack will be more traditional to the more like Jack story. I'm not ending the way it did. Not even talking about the whole female thing. I don't care about that. I'm talking about the fact is just, I mean, that Jack sadly ended up dying. She's kind of a terrible person too. She wasn't necessarily a good person. So I could have sworn one of her whole story, like she was super greedy, and that's what ended up leading to like the giant killing her or something like that. I think, or eating her or something like that. But I actually don't remember. But maybe that's what it is. And because you know that beans help you go to different realms, and it makes sense, him being Jack and everything. So, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But I'm curious to see, like, was he put in this whole situation by, like, Victoria? Which I don't think so, because it was just Jacinda who went out of her way. Because Sabine's the one that brought it up. So, it just seems like it's a whole love triangle situation. Which I love that Lucy compared it to the whole Catherine situation, which I brought up, reference a couple episodes back, because I was like, this whole like Ivy and Jacinda and Harry situation was very similar to like, oh, David's married to a different, well, he thinks he's in love with this woman, but it's all part of the curse to make him keep him and Snow separated. So it's funny that Lucy was like, oh my god, it's like a whole Catherine situation. And then Henry's like, oh, I'd like to be the Catherine, and Lucy's like, no one wants to be the Catherine. I was like, that's true. Also, like, because this whole thing kind of reminds me that the fact is when Henry introduced Jacinda to Alice. He's like, yeah, this is Alice from Wonderland. And she's like, he's like, and other places. I was like, right, because she brought that up before. That, to me, I don't remember if I really went into on it, but that's so sad. It's like, everyone knows you from this one thing. It's like, I've been to other places. I'm not just from Wonderland, so it's so interesting. Which does beg the question, how did she get to Wonderland then? If she's Alice from Wonderland, like she was in the tower, but she's not supposed to be able to leave the tower. But Regina had saw the tower and it was crumbled. So I'm curious. And how did she meet up? Well, no, I'm about to say, how did she meet up with Rumple? But it's like, we know, like at the end of like his and Belle's story, he ended up running into her, which is so interesting. Like I said, it's so cool that all the stories collide like that. But it's like, that is a question. What is Rumple up to? Like, what? Like, cause it seems like he's trying to help Killian out, but like the moment Regina asks for help, he's not helping her. Or is he trying to put her, like, it seems like he might be playing he's definitely playing a lone game. Like, Rumple has always been like the lone game guy. So the question is, for what purpose? Is by not helping Regina, he's actually helping her? Because she's actually wanted to go somewhere else to get help since she can't get Gold's help. It's like, oh, what about Belle? And he's like, who's Belle? And it's like, dude. Also, what about your son in this situation too? This, like, does Gideon play some role in this or not? I don't know. But Also, I love the fact is that Ronnie ended up throwing away Killian's cake. That's just kind of made me go back to that because my brain is all over the place. I do apologize. I'm just so like that's what happens, especially when I watch more than one episode. I'm like this even with one episode, but typically when I watch more than one episode, that's typically what happens. But nevertheless, the fact that she threw away that cake, I was like, I wonder what's up with that cake. She doesn't have magic in this world, but you still don't know what she could have done to that cake. And then Ronnie's like, yeah, you know, too much sugar is not good for you. Trying to, because she knows what's up. So I guess that can only mean that like he told them their full like that he told them their his full story because she knows Gothel's name in this world. So I can only assume that she knows everything. So, which begs the question like how does she play into this whole situation? Because it seems like her revenge is most likely at Rapunzel and them for locking her up. Which well maybe we'll go back a little further and find out why that happened in the first place. Why she got locked up. Why she had Rapunzel. Well, no, her reason might be a little different in the show than canonically in the story, which I think it's kind of similar to Regina's reason why she took her was just because it's like, I don't know if it was part of some deal or whether it's just because she was alone and she didn't want to be alone. Which Lucy kind of called Victoria out on. It's like, my mom and dad are going to get together and the curse is going to get broken and you're going to be left alone. And she's almost kind of like a metaphorical booyah and walks away. It was so good. But getting back to it, like, Henry's drinking because he's super sad about the whole Jacinda situation. He fixed up the truck and everything. Ivy's trying to start stuff, but like Regina's like, nah, back away from my son. So, which is like, cause it's like a little, she doing that just, well, not only just to keep Jacinda apart from Henry, but it's just to stick the dagger a little deeper into Regina to make her feel bad about breaking her son up with the woman that he loves and the woman who loves him. But not just that, but also just to add insult and injuries like, oh, I'm taking your son from you type of thing. Oh, he's going to fall. It's like, oh, you're so evil. But she decides to go to California, San Francisco specifically, because like someone who was kicked out from Hyperion Heights, someone that doesn't like her. Immediately my brain goes, is this like is it Zelena? Because I'm like, who wouldn't like her the most? I'm like, it has to be Zelena. She also pointed out something. She's like, we can't go to Storybrooke. I guess it's locked off to them because of the curse. Maybe it's like Storybrooke that the moment you go in, you can't go out. Maybe it's something like that. Because we have yet to actually see anyone leave. You know, under special circumstances. Obviously, Lucy did, much like Henry did before. But, you know, maybe those who are affected specifically by the curse can't. I don't know. That also begs the question, like, how did they all find their ways around it? Because, you know, obviously Henry wasn't even born when the whole curse thing happened. So obviously he existed outside of the curse. So that's understandable for him. But what about Lucy? Lucy was a little girl when the curse happened. So that begs the question, how did that happen? How does she remember? Just like I'm sure Gisela made the curse so that her mom would remember along with herself. How far back her and Gothel been working? I mean, that's probably even before the curse happened. It's like, oh, I'm gonna put you in my mom's way, so my mom thinks that she's on the winning. You know, it's probably that far back. But that just got me thinking. It's like, yeah, because Lucy was born before the curse happened, so there has to be something with that. I didn't even think about that because I was like, Henry, because when the curse was activated, Emma was already sent through, so obviously the curse didn't affect her, so obviously it didn't affect Henry because he was born outside of the curse as well. So, but what about Lucy? Lucy was born and then the curse happened. I don't know. Maybe it's just something special about her. Maybe she's like on some savior level stuff. Maybe that's what it is. Much like Emma was the savior. Maybe they're setting Lucy up to be one, so she's actually immune to the curse. I don't know. Maybe something like that. But going back to it, it's like Zelena seems like she might be the only one like I can really think of like that. I feel like it has to be someone that we know. I'm curious. Yeah, she's the only person I can think of that doesn't like her. I mean, because we haven't found out about Zelena. Because slowly but surely we're learning about everyone with Storybrooke. Obviously, Emma and Killian. Obviously, we learned about Belle and Rumple. Still don't know exactly how he got to where he is now, but still, we're obviously heading in that direction. So, that's where my mind is. I'd love to see that whole situation. And now that I bring up Zelena, because I forgot to bring up that comparison. The whole Killian situation is exactly like the Zelena situation. Because she did the exact same thing to Robin Hood. Obviously for different reasons. That was more of a middle finger to Regina, sure. This was more like I need this to get out type of thing. So, I don't know. I'm very interested to see where like all that like oh god it was so good. I'm wondering will Gothel have a redemption where it's like well no you will make everything work out that maybe you will be a good mom because things don't always I don't know because I was like things definitely don't work out between Rumpel and his mom, that's for sure. So it does seem like things are clicking between Killian and Alice. Because Alice is like, well, she thought she only did what she did because Weaver, he's someone that she thought cared about. And it's like, he said he was doing it for the right reason. So that's the only reason why. Because she didn't want Killian, she thought this was going to help him in the end. But it's like, okay, they're bonding. Killian's trying to find his new purpose. Because he's like, oh yeah, helping out Eloise is fine and everything. But it didn't feel as hard. It just, obviously because his daughter is right there. It's like, dude, that might be it too. Because it might not, now that I'm thinking about it, it might not just be Henry that's poisoned because it's like everyone you care about. So that must mean everyone is poisoned. The moment they meet up with the people that they care about, it's all over. Maybe that kind of plays a role. Rumpel might be connected to that too. But it's like the moment the curse is broken and they realize each other, and they break through the curse, it will immediately kill everyone because if Killian's next to Alice and Jacinda and Henry, or maybe it's specifically connected to Lucy. Maybe them being together might end up hurting her. Might be all of them. I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens. Maybe even Regina can't get close to him. It's like there's so many different directions this could go. Obviously, Drizella ended up finding the coffin. Sadly, it turns out that her sister isn't in there. Like, that's Victoria for you. Always one step ahead. It's like, ooh! It's like we got so many bad guys going at the same time. I love it. That doesn't happen too often. Obviously, there was that time in, the second half of season 4 where all the villains united. Maleficent, Ursula, and, Cruella de Vil. Like, all of them kind of joined up together. So I think it's kind of something like that because we have like the bad guy trifecta, Victoria, Gothel, as well as Drizella. Drizella. I'm so curious to see where this all goes from here, especially because it's like Jacinda and Nick, and now that leaves Henry kind of out in the cold, and then there's the whole him and Ivy situation. Obviously, she's making things. It's just a messed up situation. It's like it leaves you so torn apart. You're like, oh, that's so sad, but at the same time, you're like, but it's such good drama. It's such good television. It's like I'm so conflicted on how I should feel. So, it's such good episodes. I'm so excited to see what the next episode has in store for us, but sadly we will be waiting a little while because the next episode won't be until 3 weeks from now. So no new episode next week or the week after that. The next episode will be on December 9th. Correction, December 8th. Just check my notes. So it bothers me so much. I don't want to wait because it just keeps getting better and better. I was about to say gooder. Like I said, this season is just firing on all cylinders. I can't speak tonight. I apologize for that. So good. So, like I said, we'll have to wait, but I can't wait. I'm so curious to see what goes down in the next episode. I avoided the previews. I didn't want to see anything. It's like, no. I'll wait till the episode airs. Also, a little quick side note at the end here. Obviously, I'm recording this a little late. Things came up. I kind of left the video up. I put one up Friday to let you know there were going to be no podcast. Well, obviously, this is going to go up. I'm going to try and put this up. This and Blind Spot up earlier. I know that's crossing streams and stuff like that. But nevertheless, I just want to let you know. I do apologize. This is coming up late. It's like Monday morning when I'm recording this just because I haven't really had an opportunity to. So I'm going to make sure this goes up today. So you should be hearing this a couple hours after me recording this. But that's all I want to talk about in this episode. So the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.